morning. Happy Wednesday. This is the 13th day of July, and we are in season 4 of the Be Your Own Hero show. HERO is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It is a reciprocal action. Try it. I'm sure you'll like it. I'm your host. I'm sekouwrites. I'm a professional creative, author, journalist, speaker, and the creator of what we're now calling the Hero Ministry Movement, which is my effort to uplift and inspire everyone, but the unhoused community in specific. So join me here Monday through Friday, 8:45 a.m. Central Time. Do your math for the local time zone, where I'll be talking about my journey to become my own hero in several different areas, especially financially. So all that said, shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me the space and opportunity to be here and talk about my journey of becoming my own hero. And don't forget that New Thought Media Network is a 501c3 nonprofit. So they are ready and willing to accept your donations, and your donation is tax deductible. And without further ado, I'm going to run their commercial because, again, I'm very appreciative of the fact that they've given me this space and this opportunity. So here we go, New Thought Media Network.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network, come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings.
All right. Please like, share, and subscribe. That applies to New Thought Media. It also applies to me. I have not been giving my YouTube channel a lot of love, but this show broadcasts, it streams on my YouTube channel. So please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Okay, quick disclaimer. I am not a personal trainer, nor am I a financial advisor. So take what I say with a grain of salt, which translates to do your own due diligence. All right, let's get into it. Hero Ministry Movement news. Let's go. So a couple things I want to talk about. First of all, let's start off with the charity run. Today is day 408. These numbers are getting kind of ridiculous to say now. Every once in a while I hear what I'm saying, and it's kind of amazing, even for me. I have been running every single day, at least a mile a day, for now 408 days in a row consecutively. And in the process, I've raised money for many different nonprofits. I was about to say the number that I usually use, but that number is bigger now because I'm also including in-kind donations, also volunteering. So I have contributed to a number of different charities and causes over the course of my run. And right now I'm raising money for Back on My Feet. It's a nonprofit based in Philly. And what they do is they visit the unhoused communities in many different areas, and they teach them how to run. And by teaching them how to run, they teach them how to show up for themselves and build themselves a better persona, a better self-worth. They improve their self-worth by running. And in the process of becoming more accountable, becoming more responsible, they also improve other areas of their life. So I really love that math, that alchemy, because I'm applying the same alchemy to my life. I'm using running as a means to better myself in a number of different ways outside of running. So anyway, if you would like to join in the circle of giving, please do. The link is herocharityrun.com. And I have to say it all the time and put it up on the screen all the time. You'd be surprised how often people ask me, what's the website again? So there you go, herocharityrun.com. So that'll get you there. That'll show you all the previous, well, not just previous and current charities and causes that I'm working with. And I'd love for you to just go and look and see what I've done, because there might be something on the list that resonates with you. I told that story recently about how someone in my circle found an organization on my list that she had been disconnected from for years and got reconnected with them through herocharityrun.com. So very excited about that. All right, so I gave you all that information just now because I did not include it in my run report this morning. I was feeling pretty tired this morning, and I didn't say all the things. So without further ado, I'm going to show you this morning's run report. It's a quick one. There we go. Okay, halfway through the halfway run report. Still feeling achy. Did a little more stretching this morning. Anyway, today is day 408. I've been running every single day, at least a mile a day for the past 407 days in a row. So far today, I've only run half a mile. I ran half a mile to the track, and now I've been doing this track workout that someone gave me from BMR. Slow going though, because I don't know, everything feels really tight. Right. So anyway, I'm doing the workout as best I can. We'll see how it goes. The voice is telling me I just reached a mile just now. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna stay out here and try to get through the workout, see what happens. Okay, keep doing, be a hero, be your own hero. Remember that now is better than perfect. Please donate at HeroCharityRun.com. Later. Okay. There we go. So that's today's run report and news update. So the Hero Charity Run is now at 42% funded. 42%. I'm going to throw some fireworks up for that because yesterday it was 41%. And now today, just a day later, it's 42%. So we got momentum. Few fireworks for that. Momentum. I'm excited about it. And shout out to Kahila. Big shout out to Kahila. You've heard me mention Kahila before. Kahila is the company that I work with out of Idaho, out of Sun Valley, Idaho. Population 1,500. So small town. Anyway, I've been doing some work with them, some video editing work, some live streaming work. Doesn't matter. The point is they have shown up and showed out. This most recent donation is also from Kahila. This comes to us from Noah, and Noah got us to 42%. So shout out to all the Kahila folks, all the many folks from Kahila who have donated and sent McDonald's gift cards. If you've been following me on social media, you know some of the McDonald's gift card stories. I was trying to decide if I'm going to tell one. Let me just tell one. So I'll just tell yesterday's McDonald's gift card story. But just to close out, thank you so much, Kahila. I really appreciate you being invested in this journey with me. And the Kahila folks are like, what are you doing for day 500? And I keep feeling like, slow down. You know, let me get to 450 before we start talking about day 500. But they are encouraging me to plan ahead for day 500 and do some kind of group activity, some way of letting you, the people who watch the show, get involved. So I'm thinking about that. I guess the same kind of thinking that I had for day 365, I'm trying to project to day 500. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so yesterday's McDonald's gift card story, I was actually walking to Fisk. Those of you that have been watching the show know that I've been teaching at mini college at Fisk. I've been working with the kids on poetry, storytelling, acting, being creative. Anyway, I was walking to Fisk and I saw a guy sitting in the shade, and it was hot. It's been hot everywhere, right? So that's no surprise. And he was in the shade, and I was like, "Well, man, that's a good idea." So I said words to that effect to him. I was like, "That's a good idea. I should get in the shade." And he didn't respond. And when he didn't respond, I took a closer look at him, and I saw that his clothes were tattered. And I was like, "Oh, okay, he's not just lounging. He may need help." So I asked him if he needed anything. And he brushed me off at first. And then I was like, are you sure? Are you sure you don't need anything? And he was like, well, I could use a cold drink. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I've got a way for you to get a cold drink. As a matter of fact, I've got a gift card from McDonald's. There's a McDonald's not too far away from here. I don't have any cash on me, but I've got this gift card if you like it. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. So I gave him the gift card. He was really excited about it. And as I continued to walk, I heard him continuing to yell thanks as I was walking away. So shout out to Fallon. Fallon from Kahila is the person who gave me this most recent batch of gift cards. So again, shout out to the Kahila team, and specifically shout out to Fallon for hooking me up with the gift cards. And that is the most recent gift card giveaway story. And I wasn't even running, I was walking that time. But now it's become a part of the way that I move. I've given away cards while I'm running, but also while walking and also while driving. So that story continues. Okay, so let's move on a bit. Comments from yesterday. So as you know, sometimes I get caught up in my stories and I don't get to the comments. And then I look at the comments after the show and then I circle back. So comment from yesterday that I want to highlight. Someone put in the chat that at some point previously in their life, they were working 2 jobs, struggling to make ends meet. And then they got this unexpected, I was about to call it a windfall, but I don't know if it was a windfall. Let's just say some unexpected income. And what they decided to do was invest all of it. Invest all of it, even though it was hard, even though they were struggling to make ends meet with two jobs. Instead of using that money right then, they set it aside and invested it. And that person was saying it was the best decision they ever made. It was very difficult at the time and for the next couple of years, but over time, that money grew and grew and grew. And so shout out to you for doing the work. Shout out to you for giving us the example of what it looks like. And also, I just want to underscore the point that it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be comfortable. These things that we're learning about how to deal with wealth, how to manifest abundance, they are concepts that are alien, at least to me, these are alien concepts. We're having to think about things in an entirely different way. So it ain't going to be comfortable. So I can just imagine how difficult that must have been to invest that money instead of using it in the moment. And so for those of us who aren't in that same position, but we are interested in changing our financial health, our financial reality, we must remember that it's not always going to be comfortable. Matter of fact, most of the time it's going to be very uncomfortable. I'm going to take it a little bit further. If you're not uncomfortable with what you're doing in your financial sphere right now, you're not doing enough. You got to get uncomfortable. You got to reach for the outer edge of your financial potential. You're going to have to work for it. Same for me. Like I don't know if I've expressed that, but many of the things that I talk about on this show are things that make me uncomfortable. And I'm just forcing myself to get more comfortable with it. So anyway, shout out to you. Great comment. I'm glad you popped in to say that. Okay. Speaking of comments, shout out to the folks in the chat. I see you, Tim. And shout out to you for popping in the fireworks. I appreciate that. Okay, so Dice Roll Challenge. Monday was $4. Tuesday was $3. And today, the Dice Roll Challenge is going to be 2. That's interesting. 4, 3, 2. So tomorrow it should be 1. Let's see what happens. But today is 2. Just making a quick note. So again, what you're doing is taking small increments of money out of circulation and setting it aside to be invested, so that there's always money to be invested. So you don't have to think about investing when it's time to invest. You've got some money there. Even if it's a little bit of money, you got some money there to invest. So do that. Keep doing it. Dice Roll Challenge. Monday was $4. Tuesday was $3. Wednesday, $2. Okay, shifting gears, moving on to Morning Zen. So if you've been watching the show, you know that I've been reading this week, Think Your Way to Wealth, which was written by Napoleon Hill, based on the thoughts of Andrew Carnegie. I want to say something about that, but also I want to tie in something from TikTok. TikTok, by the way, is now the world's most popular social media app. It is blown past Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all the others. TikTok is the big one. Okay, so I saw this quote on TikTok and it struck me. And so I just wanted to share it. And also I want to point out how it ties in with what I'm reading from Think Your Way to Wealth, which was written many, many, many years ago. Okay, so here's the quote from TikTok from yesterday. Most people do not lead a life. They accept a life. Strong, right? Strong. I'm gonna read it again. Most people do not lead a life, they accept a life. That one hit me hard. I don't know about you, but that one hit me. And it reminded me of something that I read in Think Your Way to Wealth. Again, it was written hundreds of years ago. I don't know if it's hundreds, but a lot of years ago. I got to get the exact date. Anyway, let me read the quote. All right. If you have no goal, it forces you to drift until you become the victim of every stray wind of chance. If you have no goal, it forces you to drift until you become the victim of every stray wind of chance. It's like a tumbleweed blowing across the desert. If you have no fixed point that you are focused on, you become subject to the whims of the winds that are blowing you around. Whims of the wind. It's kind of cool. Alliteration. Anyway, it dovetails. Yeah. It feels like the same energy of the previous quote that I got from TikTok. Most people don't lead a life, they accept a life. So if you're just accepting your life, you don't have a fixed point, a North Star, a definite chief aim, which is another concept I took from Napoleon Hill and Andrew Carnegie. You got to have at least one big goal that guides your steps in some way. Otherwise, you're just drifting along. And you don't want to drift. You don't want to drift. These quotes scare me. I don't know about you, but these quotes scare me. Don't just drift. Don't just accept a life. Create a life. Make a life. Have one definite chief aim to aim for, to work towards. And if you've been watching the show, you know I've been talking about definite chief aims this week. I talked about Henry Ford's. I talked about the definite chief aim of Bill Gates. And I talked about the definite chief aim of Bruce Lee. These are folks who were exposed to the idea of Think and Grow Rich, and they developed a definite chief aim that was so big that it ordered the rest of their steps. It ordered the rest of their steps. And often, most of the time, money was not even a part of their definite chief aim. That just came along with their definite chief aim. So that's a nice segue. I'm going to go back to the docuseries that I've been talking about, The Food That Built America. Again, this is a docuseries on Hulu, but it's available on lots of different platforms. And it is the stories of the brands that we just accept now. We don't even think about these brands, but the creation of these brands back in the day. Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Nestle, Bird's Eye. Apparently I said bird song yesterday. It's Bird's Eye, the frozen foods, etc. And what we see if we watch the show, those of us who have watched the show, is that there are a number of things that have to work together to create that kind of personal force. That's what I'm going to call it. Personal force that creates a brand of that magnitude. And there are consistencies. Like if you watch the show, and I highly suggest you do, don't just watch it. Watch it and take notes. Even if you don't write them down, take mental notes. There's so much to learn. And one of those things is the consistency of faith. Faith and self-confidence. Those two things pushed together. Faith and self-confidence, which to me speaks to the Akashic record, the universal consciousness, the idea that you can tap into something within you that knows, despite what everyone else says, it knows. So just to give you a quick example, and then we'll move on, I think. Quick example, Nestle, I might have said this already, but Nestle built an entire town before he had a product. I did say this, I said this yesterday. But again, imagine the knowingness he must have had to build an entire town for a product that did not exist yet. That is a true leap of faith. That means that he was in touch with the divine within him, such that no one else could dissuade him. And that theme is pretty consistent through most, if not all, of these stories. So just to add one more, because I told Nestle before. So bird's eye, the man who invented the bird's eye that we know in the frozen foods in the grocery store, he was the heir to the bird's eye fortune. Unfortunately, the bird's eye fortune evaporated when he was in school. So much so that he had to drop out of school because they could no longer afford it. But he was raised in wealth and opulence. After that, he completely abandoned ship. He moved to Canada, and he was living by himself in a shack in the woods, these snow-covered woods, and became a fur trapper and was fishing to feed himself. And in that environment, he had the brilliant idea to freeze food in a better way than the way it was being frozen at the time. So again, this is someone who is clearly in touch with the universe within him enough to recognize this idea and have enough self-confidence, even though he's living in the middle of nowhere in a hut and his family lost his money, to have the self-confidence to say, this is my destiny and I'm going to make it manifest. And he comes back to the States, and I don't want to give it all away in case you want to watch the show, because you will be fascinated at what happens next. But you know from going to the grocery store that bird's eye is everywhere. It's all over the frozen foods aisle. This was at a time, this is the last thing I'm going to say about this, in case you go watch it. Last thing I'm going to say about this. He made he started this endeavor when 1 out of 10 people had a refrigerator. 1 out of 10. The odds are astronomically stacked against him, but he had an inner knowing. So what's the point? Get in touch with your inner knowing and trust and believe it. Also, have a definite chief aim. No matter whether or not you want to be a tycoon or not, have a definite chief aim. Have something, at least one thing that orders the steps of your life. All right, moving on. I got to tell a story. Today, and we're going to see how long that takes me. But as you know, if you've been watching the show, I've been teaching at Fisk University. They have a program called Mini College, and it's for ages like 4 to 12. And it exposes them to a number of different things. And I've been teaching, like I said earlier in the show, kind of acting. I'm teaching play. Have you been watching Rev Mel show? I'm basically teaching play, whatever is encompassed by play. So anyway, there was some crying going on yesterday. Now, first of all, don't be alarmed. I remember when I first started, I was alarmed every time one of the kids would start crying, and I would rush over and be like, what's wrong? And they'd be like, my shoe's untied. Okay. So over time, I've gotten used to the crying. But there was more crying than usual going on yesterday. There were more students in the room. There was a lot going on yesterday. That's not the point. This is the point. The point is, I felt the need to address it yesterday. Usually, I try to talk to kids one-on-one, but this time I felt like, all right, everybody sit down, let's talk. And I told this story, and I want to refine it a bit. So I'm going to practice on you. I'm going to retell this story, and I'm going to tell you what happened then, but I'm going to refine it a bit. So I had the kids sit down, and I said, listen, let me tell you a true story. And this is a true story. So a very close friend of mine had a private parking space attached to their condo, right? And one day they came home and someone was parked in their parking spot. And they were upset about it. And at this point during the story yesterday, I asked the kids what they thought happened. And before I even tell you what they said, I had to say to them, okay, time out. This is a true story. This is not TV. This is not a movie. I need you to give me realistic answers, because they were off all over the place, right? So at this point, I asked them what they thought happened, and one of the reasonable responses I got was, my friend had the other car towed. Like, that's within the realm of possibility, right? That is not what happened, though. What happened in real life is my friend was so upset that someone was parked in their parking spot that as he was moving to another parking spot, he crashed his car right there in the parking lot, ran into a hydrant, not a hydrant, ran into a pole right there in the parking lot, damaged his car because he was so upset about someone being in his parking space. And then I asked the kids to give me the moral of the story. And a few kids said some really profound things. Some of them just repeated the story back to me. That's all right. But some of them did give me some profound things. And what I was reaching for them, the lesson I wanted them to ingest now and keep with them for the rest of their lives is pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. There are going to be things that happen in our lives that we do not care for. No matter what age and stage we are, there are going to be things that we don't care for. We're going to feel some pinch of discomfort at some point in our lives. That's pain. But suffering, but choosing to be upset over and over again about that thing, or for an extended period about that thing, or to hold on to the coals, the hot coals of whatever that thing was that challenged you, will lead to you damaging yourself internally. And in my friend's case, externally, because now he's got to get his car fixed. The person who's parked in his spot, there were no repercussions for that person, but now he's got to get his car fixed. He damaged himself. That's a very outward expression of what I'm expressing now. Like, you're holding on to those hot coals of the thing that upsets you. It is damaging to you. So pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. You have to choose a way to shift yourself. Those of you that saw Rev Mel's show yesterday saw that she got up and danced. Like, you didn't see her get up and dance. You heard me talk about her getting up and dancing. But she chose to shift her energy because she knew she was low. That takes a lot of awareness, and it takes a lot of dedication. Okay. So before I run out all my time talking about that, I got to say something about abundance before the show closes. So today, the inflation rates will be announced. I'm not sure where that happens or how that happens, but I know it's happening today. I Googled it a little while ago, and I saw that there was a live stream happening. I think it was on the Wall Street Journal, but it doesn't matter. Today, pay attention at some point today to what the announcement is of the new inflation rate. So it is currently 8.6. It is expected to go up to 8.8% today. That's almost 9%. So it'll be very interesting to see what's going to happen. But the point is, stay aware. Be aware that this is happening today and go find the information. They're not going to announce it on the news. Go find it. Go get the information from the true sources of the information, because it has ripple effects for you and your spending. Okay, that said, let me go ahead and close on out. It's time for prayer time right now at 10:15 Eastern time. And then it's time for a sip with Rev Melissa. Okay, I see some comments in the chat as I'm closing out. So let me see if I can get this really quick. The name of the series is The Food That Built America. We've been watching it on Hulu, The Food That Built America. And you will be mesmerized. Okay. All right, I'll read the rest of the comments later. Keep doing. Be a hero. Be your own financial hero. Remember that now is better than perfect in all things, but especially in terms of investing. And I will see you mañana. Later.